So you ever have one of those days at your job where you could just strangle somebody and you really take a hard look at your career and what you're doing and go, why am I even bothering? Well, I had one of those weeks, actually, let's just put it that way. And most of you know I'm a realtor, so I deal with all kinds of other people, other realtors, paperwork, buyers, sellers all the time. But you know what? I created a YouTube called Real Estate, The Ugly Truth. And today I'm going to give you some ugly truth about this. I'm not one to bash our industry because we're sorely needed to help people navigate home sales, purchases, the legalities, representation, things like that. But I gotta say, the barrier to entry into this industry and looking at the expectation from clients and the public are so out of whack. It's not funny. You need a high school education to take the college courses. And the number of agents that I've seen that come out of those courses that still really don't know anything, they have the basic law under their belt, and that's about it. They don't understand the paperwork, the procedures, or anything else. And unfortunately, many of them don't even seek help when they write their offers up. All right, so quick story for you. So this is why I'm having this bit of a rant, if you want to call it. I receive an offer on one of my listings, and right off the bat, I don't know exactly what's happening with this other agent. First of all, they've never booked a showing before, so they're putting an offer in on a property that, as far as I know, nobody's ever even seen it. So I get this offer, and I talk to the agent. I say, "Well, is your client planning on to take a look at the property?" Well, no, we just want to work through the offer, and then we'll go and see it. We'll go and see it tomorrow. I'm like, well, why can't you go and look at it tomorrow so I know you've seen the property and we can look at the offer? I said, is she an investor or he an investor or whatever? And he's, no, first-time buyer. I'm like, really? As a first-time buyer, this person doesn't want to see the property first. They want to put in the offer first and magically hope the property is fine later? I mean, I don't understand. So I said, fine. So this agent writes up the offer, sends it in. We look it over. It's extremely weak. I mean, there wasn't a single thing in the offer that I would consider it to be a strong offer. So we rejected it outright and said, come back with something that at least my client can be happy about, because there was nothing in there for our benefit at all. So he says, fine. I said, in the meantime, book a showing for the property because I want your client to see it since she's a first-time buyer. Okay, I'm just going to say it's a she, whatever. It's easier, to ensure that this property is right for her. Okay, fine. So he books the showing. I get another offer come in. This one's better. After I explained to the agent kind of what my client was looking for, he talked to his client, I guess, and decided, this is a better offer as it comes in. So we take a look at it, and yes, it is. The terms were fine. The offer was garbage. After going through line by line in this offer, and let me get this straight, it's fill in the blanks, okay? An offer is pretty much pre-written by the Ontario Real Estate Association with the proper clauses in the legalities. They've checked it all to make sure the rights of the seller, the buyer are kept in check. And really what we do is we fill in the blanks correctly and add clauses at the end for your conditions, things like that, to make sure that you're represented properly. Wow. After going through 6 pages of the offer, by the way, it's only 6, I had at least, I would say, 10 to 15 corrections in the offer itself. Didn't get anything right. Didn't even get the address right. It's a condo. Didn't get the unit number right. Didn't get any of it correct at all. I'm like, you've got to be joking me. So for us to accept it, I got to make all those changes and send it back and get it all initialed again and then come all the way back again. So now the offer looks like a mess. So when the lawyer looks at it, it's going to have all these lines through it, crossing everything out because I had to correct everything. And it's not rocket science. This stuff is not hard stuff. It's right in the listing. You just copy what's in the listing and you put it into the offer. That part is not difficult, but it was all incorrect. Every single thing. Right down to what's the parking space number? The answer was 1. I know there's 1 parking space, but what's the number? It's number 361, or it's locker A686. I don't care what the thing is, but there's a number in there, not just 1. So both of them got parking lot number 1, locker number 1. I mean, come on, let's get this right, okay? So we finally get that sorted, get it accepted, right? And there's 2 conditions in the offer. Doesn't matter what they are. And we send it back. So we're waiting now for deposit. and then for the conditions to be fulfilled or waived, however agents want to look at it. And then we move on with the purchase and sale. So 2 business days go by. 48 hours, I don't hear from this other agent at all. Where's the deposit? In the agreement, it says within 48 hours. Every realtor knows the deposit is important because it's the only security the seller has that this deal is going to go through. All right, so it's not a small deal, it's a big deal. And so I confront this agent at least, let's just say 4 text messages, 3 phone calls. Sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. 4 text messages, at least 3 phone calls, and I get sure, yeah, fine, like answers I expect from my teenager in a text message. And then I finally get him on the phone. He says, "What's your problem? You're blowing up my phone constantly. I'll get you the deposit. Just calm down." I'm sorry, but on a procedure like this, you're going to tell me to calm down? Right? Like, come on. You have 2 days to get the deposit together, or at least let me know what's happening, and then I'm not worried about it. I've had many agents in the past that get delayed. They can't get the money out of the RSP. It gets held up. Whatever. It's not a big deal if you let the other parties know what's going on. I have a seller on one end wondering where the deposit is to secure the deal. My office is asking for the deposit because they don't want to record it as an actual ACS, accepted sold conditional, until we get the deposit as well. The agreement says the deposit has to be delivered, and I got this agent telling me to calm down. I said, it is a big deal. He says, it's not a big deal. I did 2 deals last year and it was fine. 2 deals. So this agent, this is his 3rd, let's say maybe accepted offer, and he thinks that this is fine. So 1, who's trained him? 2, did he actually pay attention in school to understand the deposit is very important? At least communication is, which, by the way, they don't teach you in real estate college. They just teach you the law. They don't teach you that communication is the #1 issue with real estate. He's fine with it. So basically I rip his head off on the phone, somewhat politely but very abrupt. And I say, it is a big deal. Don't tell me to calm down. And if you understood anything about real estate, the deposit is one of the most important things you can't screw up. I've watched deals fall apart from that. I've watched deals come in with a home inspection clause, and the buyers don't drop off the deposit until their home inspection is done in case they don't like the house. That way they can back out of the deal and their money isn't being held in my trust account, because it takes about maybe 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks to get their money back once it's deposited. So I've seen people do this. They'll delay the deposit, give excuses, do their home inspection, don't like the house, walk away, and no skin in the game. Could not care less, because you can't come after them for anything. And I don't have the deposit to hang on to argue with them. I've seen this happen many times. And of course, this agent's done 2 deals, so he knows everything. All right. This is lack of education, and this is lack of experience. When you're choosing a realtor, I don't care how nice they are or who recommended them and whatnot. Do a little bit of digging and find out if they know what they're doing. And if you're in the middle of the process with your realtor, and I'm not suggesting you dump your realtor by any means, and I'm not trying to get people to cancel any contracts that are already under agreement. I got to say this, okay? I'm just saying, if you get the inkly feeling of chaos is creeping up on what's going on, and you feel like there's no control, that generally means that you're in control and the agent's not doing their job. Look, it's your money. It's a lot of money, and it's a big deal. It's your next home or the current home you're selling. You should know that your realtor is at least experienced enough to handle paperwork and understand the ins and outs of how procedure is supposed to go. I mean, really, that's what you're paying us for, right? Representation and guiding you through the process. You sell your house, what, maybe once every 5 to 10 years? Some of you more. Yeah, we should talk. But for the most part, you might do 1 deal every let's say 3 to 10 years. If your agent is almost the same, you probably don't want to work with that person. And I got to say, shame on some of the brokerages that aren't educating agents like this one, that best intentions, just hadn't a clue what he's doing. And it seemed like he was afraid to ask. Because I said to him, I'm not your enemy anymore. It's an accepted sold conditional offer. Let's work together to get through the process. Let's work together for your client to go through their financing and the status certificate and whatever else is going to be in there, to sort all that out so they can make a decision. Are they buying this property or not? Right? At that point, the negotiations are over. At that point, the two agents want to work together to make sure both of their clients move through the process smoothly and get a positive outcome in the end. I had to tell him that. I said, I'm not your enemy, man. Like, if you need help with something, you can't fill out the form correctly, I'll do what I can to help. But other than that, ask your broker of record for assistance, or your manager, or a senior agent in your office that's been doing it for years. Why can't you ask for help? It's a lot of money on the line. Like, if you look at the average agent commission of, say, 2% or 2.5%, that's a lot of money for you to screw up because you couldn't get the paperwork right. That's a horrible reason. Like, honestly, that's a horrible reason to lose a deal, is because you didn't do the paperwork right, or you didn't follow procedures properly, or irrevocable dates lapsed, or a conditional period went by because you thought it wasn't important, or the deposit didn't get dropped off because it's not really important and you should calm down. Barrier to entry is really low. Client expectations are through the roof. We see people complain about realtors all the time, and stuff like this is what's fueling the ugly truth about our industry. Is just because you've got your license doesn't mean you know shit. New agents out there, you're educated, but you have no experience. Find someone that's going to teach you the ropes properly. Practice filling out your forms, even if there isn't a deal. Fill out the forms correctly. Give it to a senior agent. Get them to check it. Is this how I fill out a condo form? Is this how I fill out a residential detached house form? A lease listing? Go through all of those. Write a whole bunch of them. Pick a listing off the internet and just fill out an offer for it and give it to your senior agent or your manager and go, did I do this correctly? Mutual release. So here we go. So this deal actually fell apart because the financing wasn't done. First time buyer, financing didn't go through. Why didn't the agent pre-qualify their client in the first place? So instead, he's now wasted my time, my seller's time, my brokerage's time for handling all the paperwork, and not to mention his buyer's time. This poor buyer didn't get the property, and she probably could have avoided that if proper financing was done. You should be solidly approved pretty much before you go shopping. Imagine going to the mall to buy a Christmas present, or actually no, let me change that backwards. Imagine I gave you a credit card and said you can buy whatever you want on the card, but I don't tell you what the limit is. How frustrating would that be? You go out, you swipe the card, declined. You find another thing that you want, swipe the card, declined. And each time you're going down and down and down in your budget until finally something goes through, it's at $5. You started at $1,000. What a complete waste of time, and frustrating and full of stress. New agents, work on your buyers, get them solidly approved. Get them ready to purchase and have the confidence to know that they can get the property that they absolutely fall in love with. That's your job, damn it. I mean, come on. What else are we good for if we're not going to advise them on how to be successful? We're real estate coaches for them, basically. We represent their interests. We make sure the law is looked after. We make sure, all the paperwork is done correctly. We negotiate the best deal we can for them. If all you can say is I went to school and got my license, then you're useless. Get out of the industry. Just leave. Please leave it to the professionals that actually give a damn about our clients and want to make sure they get the best deal. They have all the paperwork done. They're least amount of stress possible. It's not really possible to be stress-free, but the big things could be taken care of. Buying and selling is always stressful in one way or another. But come on, this whole situation could have been completely avoided with a bit of education and some experience from a senior agent. Instead, all parties involved basically had this big circus going on with corrections and screw-ups, and the end of it didn't even get the property, to begin with. So if it had finally gone through and the sale actually had completed, then fine. The effort was worth it. We sorted it out. Maybe this other agent will have learned a few things. But as it happens, it didn't go through. So we need a mutual release to let go of the offer so that my seller can continue to sell the property and the other agent's buyer can go and buy something else. One piece of paper. You can probably see where I'm going with this. One piece of paper required one signature from the buyer. That's all they had to do. Comes to me with 2 signatures. I'm like, it's really hard to screw up a mutual release, really. And if you don't know, you think you would ask the broker of record how to fill one out? Oh, but get this. the broker of record was the second signature in the wrong location. So not only does this agent have no idea what they're doing, his own broker of record, which is the person who runs the brokerage, who's supposed to be a registered salesperson, gone through the broker course and passed that, gone through the broker of record course and passed that one, and have a minimum of, I don't know, I think it's 3 or 5 years, or I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's a few years of real estate experience minimum under their belt before they can even apply to be a broker of record. This person doesn't even know where to sign the document. I'm like, are you kidding me? And you wonder why the public loses faith in us. You wonder why they say, I can do it myself. All the errors that were in these offers, I would expect to see from a member of the public that's never written one. So you know what? If it's going to be like that, you might as well do it yourself. You can't go wrong. The agent on the other end is probably going to fix it all for you. You know, at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. So rant over. All I'm going to say is, if you're looking at doing real estate anywhere in the future and you're looking for a realtor, I'm not plugging myself here. I'm saying when you find a realtor, ask them about their experience. How many offers have they written? Never mind how many properties have they sold. How many offers have they written? Have they been through the process when offers don't go through? When they do go through? Advice they give their clients during these times. Do they pre-qualify their clients? Especially if you're getting an agent to list your home, ask them how they question the buying agent on the other end. You know, it's not just about, oh, hi, thanks for the offer, see ya. It's pick up the damn phone and ask them a little bit about their buyer. What are the risks involved? Because my job is to mitigate risk. So I want to know, is it a first-time buyer? Do they have the minimum 5% down, or are they putting 20 down that makes the offer stronger? Can they move in 2 days, or do they have to wait 3 months? You know what I mean? Ask some questions. It's up to the buyer agent to decide whether they're going to answer you or not. And if they answer you correctly, it's going to build strength for their buyer. So it's not just fill out paperwork, stick a sign in your lawn, and off you go. Okay? A good realtor is worth their weight in gold. And yes, because I'm a realtor, I'm going to say that. But I've also been on the other end where I wasn't a realtor selling property, and I had a nightmare. So believe me, I get what you're talking about. I get why you complain about us. But for me, it's just, I'm one agent at a time. I'm going to try and make this different. So I know we're almost 20 minutes on this, so I'll let you go. If you watch the whole thing, I really appreciate your support, and just food for thought. Investigate your realtor. Know what you're getting into, because in the end, it's your money. Whether you're a buyer or seller, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hands of either an experienced person or a person who says they're experienced, but they're not. Anyway, cheers. Have a great day.